Hey everyone, this will be helpful for your group work this week, your assignment this due Thursday. And this is the data set that we weren't able to look at and access in class last week. So this is the depression data set. If you wanted to practice with this or just take a look at this video and make sure that you're able to pull up the data set. And then we'll go over which view to look at, variable view versus data view. And then we'll run some frequencies, okay? And I'll show you the differences between the levels of measurement and then also the chart. So you'll have an idea of how to conduct your project this week, okay? So just go to Canvas into Files and then click onto the Download Depression dataset. And remember, you can access this just like we did when we were in the lab and we were able to click on to the cloud at the bottom of your screen, of the computer screen, and where it says Citrix. Okay, click onto that and then go to IBM Statistics. And that's where you'll find the program SPSS. All right, so try that if you're not at a computer that has SPSS on it. And if you're at home, I think you can also access that through your student portal, Citrix, CITRIX. Okay, so let's get started. What it will look like once you do launch it will be the file, and actually it'll be defaulted into the data view. So you'll see this and just go all the way down to the left-hand corner and click on variable view right here. And then you'll get that view here with all the names of your variables, this abbreviated, and then the actual labels so you can get a little bit more detail. And then here are your levels of measurement, your values, and it'll tell you the level of measurement. So for instance, if we click on to this right here, the under values, this is for the variable sex, and we can tell that it's nominal because of the different choices that we have, male and female, 0 for male, 1 for female. So the value is 0 and 1. And again, we can interchange these. We can say the value is male or female. Okay? And I'll just click the X. Nothing will happen to the data if I do that. And that's an example of the nominal level variables. And then we have one that we can see is ordinal, not just because it's designated right here, but if you click on to this box, you can see that there is a difference between the different levels. And then you could tell if it's more or less, but you can't tell exactly by how much. So that's why we tell the computer that a 1, this value will stand for less than high school. A 2 will be some high school, and then so on. Okay? So I'll just X out of that. And then for your interval level or your ratio level variables, what you'll see in the values boxes will be nothing. So nothing will be in there if you click on that. And that's because the computer knows that a 1 equals a 1 and so on. It will calculate the actual number. So we won't have to do that. So for instance, with age, if the person, the respondent, selects 22 and then you enter it into the data set, it will look exactly like that, a 22. And I'll just show you an example of that. I'll go to the data view and then I'll go to the column for the variable age, and you can see here that someone was 68 years old, and so they put in 68 and entered all the data for the respondents' ages, and you can see that it varies. There's a range. Okay. If you scroll all the way down, you can tell exactly how many people completed this survey. Luckily, in the interest of time, 294 people completed it. But say if we had 10,000 people complete the survey, one of the ways that we would find out how many people completed it would be to analyze the data and conduct a frequency distribution, okay, or procedure. Okay, so we'll go to, I'll do that for each of the levels of measurement, and then I'll also help you select I'll give you some guidance to select your appropriate charts. All right, so let's go to Analyze, then Descriptive Statistics, and then Frequencies. Okay, so just like that, Analyze, Descriptive Statistics, and then Frequencies. Click onto the frequencies, and you can see all the way down here with all your variables are on the left, and where it says variable, this is the computer asking you which variable do you want to analyze, which one do you want in this procedure. Okay, so let's start off with marital status. This is a nominal level variable. We'll click that arrow to send it over here to analyze. And there are various statistics that you can look at. If this were an interval level or ratio, like a continuous variable, we would select mean. If it were an ordinal level, we would look at the median. And then also if the distribution is skewed, remember how we looked at age, and then I said if there was somebody here who said that they were 100 years old, it would push the data way out, so it would actually make your mean or your average age a lot larger, and that wouldn't really be representative of the class of Social Work 250, the students that are in there, you guys. Okay, so with somebody with the age of 80 and you all are more towards like 22, that will pull you way out past 40 some. So if someone asked what's the average age, and I said it's about 40, the mean is 40, that really wouldn't indicate what the age was truly in the class. But those are the times that you would use the median. The median, because when your distribution of scores or numbers are skewed in that way where it pulls the mean to the right or make it more positive or higher, then you would use the median and just look at the middle number. And then in some analyses, when you have an outlier like one person who is 100 years old, it doesn't mean that you're discriminating against that person. It just means that you'll look at only the data that's representative of the majority of the folks. Okay, so you could actually delete that entire response or that survey from that person. Okay, and for this nominal level variable, we'll select the mode. That's the most appropriate central tendency because basically it tells what is the most frequent occurrence. Okay, and then we have some other areas here that we'll talk about later in the semester. All right, so now that we have that, there are other ways that you could call up or request your charts. You can actually go to graphs and then you can develop it that way, create it that way, or you can just click right here. This is very convenient. For your nominal level, you can choose pie chart or you can do bar chart. If you're trying to remember, and this is all new to you, just remember nominal, use the pie chart. Ordinal, use the bar chart, and interval or ratio, use the histogram. Okay, so for the nominal, we'll go here. If you have a lot of categories, like if we're looking at countries, and I believe, don't quote me on this, but there are at least over probably close to 300 countries, that would really get confusing if you had a pie chart. But if you had a bar chart, I think it would distribute it nicely or a lot better for folks to look at. So it's up to you, the researcher. If you can interpret, there are a few slices, then I think pie chart would be the most appropriate. But if you can interpret it where there are many slices, then that's up to you. Right here, take a look at your workbook. when we talk about the different types of frequencies, there are either like absolute values, and they interchange it with just frequencies, the word frequencies, or relative, and they interchange it with percentages. Okay, so absolute is just the number, the value, the total for each case, and then percentages are percentages, the relative frequency. All right, and then we just hit continue for that. And then now that we're done with selecting our charts and our statistics, we can come down here where it says OK and click it. Right here to the left, it's defaulted, so it's already going to give you your frequency tables. Okay. And see, now we have it. Valid responses, 294, and that just means that the program took into consideration that whether or not something was missing, values were missing for that particular variable. So 294 people responded to this item. So even if you have 294 people, they may elect not to complete that question or that item. So say if one person didn't want to answer about, maybe it was too sensitive, or maybe they just forgot, and they didn't answer this question about were they married or not, then you would see a missing one, and then you would see 293 were the valid ones, responses that were calculated. This N means the number. It just means how many. So the total number of folks in the sample. Okay? How many people you're studying. Again, the variable is here, and here are your different choices, and it is nominal. Never married, married, divorced, and so forth. And you can see this is the absolute value right here for never married, 73. Percentage, this is your relative frequency. Invalid, because there are no missing, it will be the same as your percent. And then cumulative is like a running total for each of the categories here, each of your levels. And this will actually, if you're working within like an ordinal level variable where we have none and sometimes and a lot, this can help you group those and have like a running tally. Okay, so I showed an example in class, and I can do it again when we come back from spring break. Okay, so here's your pie chart right here, and it's color coded if some people are very visual, and folks can readily see that the majority of folks that completed this survey are married. There's one other step in SPSS. You don't have to do this, but if you would like to, you can bring up the editor chart. So if you double click into this green or anywhere into this chart, and then get either the crosshairs or the labels there, you can work with, it'll superimpose the percentages there. You can change the color, dimension, the lettering, the numbering of your chart, and make it how you prefer it. So once you've done that, all you have to do is close out the chart editor, and now you have it here in your output. To save this, all you have to do is you can either download this or right-click it, copy it, and paste it in a Word file, or just see, how can we do it? Yeah, just select. You can find a way to select all, I believe, without opening these, and then copy it. And then you could paste it directly into the Canvas, where you can either upload or you can paste into the submission area for your assignment. And if I haven't posted that already, I apologize, and I'll make sure that I do. Normally, people will just go ahead and email it. If I do forget and don't have that area there in Canvas for you to upload. I know you guys are taking your midterm now.